Life will hit you hard. The world will challenge you, try to test strength, your patience, your love. And people will disappoint you, but listen, this is the most powerful thing you can do. Don't react. And then give them the satisfaction of seeing you hurt. Don't let their actions control your peace. In 2025, we move different. We're silent in our response, and we cut them off quietly. You know why? Because when you react, you give them power. You hand over your energy, your peace, and your time to people who have no business having it. But when you stop reacting, when you cut them off silently, you show the world the strength of your silence, the power of your independence, and the peace that comes with knowing you don't need anyone who doesn't respect you. So here's the deal. 2025 is all about cutting off the distractions. Cutting off the people who drain you, the ones who bring nothing but chaos. You don't need to announce your departure. You don't need to make a scene. Just walk away and let them wonder. Let them figure it out. Because you know what? The only person who matters in your life right now is you. There's a moment in every person's life where they face the ultimate test, how to handle disrespect. It happens. We all experience it, whether from friends, family, colleagues, or strangers. The question is, how do you respond when someone shows you the most disrespect? Do you lash out? Do you lose your cool, letting the anger consume you? Do you scream, shout, and demand an apology? Or do you hold your ground and without saying a word, let your silence speak louder than any response could? It's hard. I get it. Every bone in your body wants to fight back, to stand up for yourself, to tell the world that you won't take being treated like less than you deserve. But here's the truth. When you react to disrespect, you're giving that person the power. You're handing over your energy and control. You're allowing them to shape your emotional state and steal your peace. They've already disrespected you, and then by reacting, you disrespect yourself by lowering yourself to their level. You're bigger than that. You're stronger than that. You've been through too much to let someone else's ignorance dictate how you feel. Stop reacting. Stop letting disrespect affect you. There's this idea that we need to prove something when we're disrespected, that somehow we need to defend our honor. But what if the best defense isn't reacting at all? What if the most powerful move you can make is to show them your peace, your grace, and your strength in silence? What if you took a step back, didn't engage, and walked away with your head held high? In those moments when you're disrespected, you've got a choice. Either you can let their actions shake your foundation, or you can stand tall and remain unshaken, letting them reveal themselves to the world for who they truly are. And let's be honest for a second, disrespect doesn't come from people who truly care about you. It doesn't come from those who see your value and respect your boundaries. No, it comes from people who are either too wrapped up in their own insecurities, too consumed by their own issues, or simply too careless to recognize the hurt they caused. People who are willing to disrespect you have already shown you who they are, and in that moment there's nothing left to prove. They've revealed their true character. You don't need to match their disrespect with more disrespect. In fact, doing so would only continue the cycle of negativity. Reacting would only make you look weak, not because of what you said, but because you let their behavior control your response. So why waste your time? Why waste your energy reacting to something that doesn't deserve your attention? Why waste a single minute of your day trying to make someone who disrespects you understand your worth? If they can't see your value, there's no amount of yelling, begging, or pleading that's going to make them change their mind. The only thing that will change is the energy you pour into the situation. And when you react in anger, you're simply lowering yourself to their level. Take a deep breath. In moments of disrespect, remember the best way to assert your strength is through your skin, not your words. Walk away with your dignity intact. Let your absence be the loudest message you send. I didn't get into a back and forth argument that only fuels the disrespect. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. When you know who you are, when you understand your worth, you don't need to convince anyone else. The moment you stop reacting to disrespect, you start reclaiming your power. You take control of your emotional state. You stop letting others dictate how you feel. It's empowering. And it's freeing, because when you stop reacting, you stop giving people the keys to your peace. You stop letting them play with your emotions like toys. You start controlling your own narrative. Understand this: disrespect is a reflection of the other person, not you. It's their inability to recognize your value. It's their lack of self-awareness. It's their choice to behave poorly, and they don't deserve a reaction from you. Every time you react, you reinforce the idea that their actions matter. But in reality, they don't. What matters is how you respond. And by choosing not to react, you make it clear that their disrespect doesn't even register in your mind. This isn't about being passive or letting people walk all over you. No, this is about knowing when and where to invest your energy. This is about setting boundaries. When someone disrespects you, it's your cue to set that boundary and step away. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. You just need to walk away from people who aren't worthy of your time or energy. Don't react. Just cut them off. And let's talk about this for a second. People will test you. Life will throw curveballs at you. And people will push your buttons. But every time you don't react, every time you take the high road, you're becoming a stronger person. You're showing yourself that you don't need to engage in unnecessary drama. You're learning to be selective about where you invest your emotions. And that right there is true emotional intelligence. It's being aware of your triggers and choosing to rise above them. It's taking the control back from people who seek to steal your peace. I think about the last time someone disrespected you. Maybe it was a rude comment, a thoughtless action, or a betrayal. In that moment, you had a choice. You could have reacted, gotten angry, yelled, and fought back, but you didn't. Maybe you walked away, maybe you stayed calm, maybe you stayed silent. Whatever you chose, you knew deep down that reacting would only fuel the fire. You knew that staying composed, keeping your peace, and not engaging was the most powerful move you could make. And in that moment, you took back control of the situation. You took control of your emotions. And you proved to yourself that nothing, no matter how disrespectful, could shake you. Every time you refuse to react to disrespect, you're teaching others how to treat you. People will respect you when they see that you don't tolerate their nonsense. They will learn that they can't push your buttons. They'll learn that you're not a punching bag for their frustration, anger, or insecurities. And in the process, you'll earn more respect. You'll attract more people who value your peace. You'll create an environment in which you can thrive, one where you control your energy, your emotions, and your peace. When you stop reacting, you also stop living in the past, because when you react, you keep reliving the moment. You keep the disrespect alive in your mind and eats away at your peace. But when you don't react, when you let go of that anger and don't allow the disrespect to linger in your mind, you move forward. You free yourself, you release the grip that the situation has on you, and you move on to better things. At the end of the day, remember this: reacting to disrespect is like holding onto a hot coal. The only person who gets burned is you. So let it go. Let them show their true colors. You don't need to engage. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify your worth. They'll see it eventually. And when they do, they'll know exactly who you are, someone who doesn't need to react because their silence speaks louder than words ever could. Your peace is everything. Without peace, you are nothing. Peace is the foundation on which everything in your life should be built. It's the calm that centers you when the storm rages around you. It's the stillness that helps you think clearly, make better decisions, and move forward with confidence. Yet too many people give away their peace without a second thought. They let others disturb their inner calm, let the drama of the world take over their mind, and let negativity invade their space. In 2025, we are no longer doing that. It's time to protect your peace, and no explanations are necessary. You don't have to justify why you need peace. You don't need to explain to anyone why you refuse to engage in the chaos. You don't owe anyone a reason for choosing to safeguard your mental and emotional well-being. You're allowed to put yourself first, to create boundaries, and to say no when something or someone threatens your peace. We spend too much of our time trying to explain ourselves to people who wouldn't even understand if we did. Stop seeking validation from others about your right to peace. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. You simply need to protect your peace. It's easy to get caught up in the noise. Life throws challenges your way every single day. People will criticize you, talk behind your back, try to bring drama into your life. They'll push your buttons, test your limits, and see how much you can take. But you have a choice in how you respond. You have a choice to either let their actions disturb your peace or to shut it down before it even starts. The moment you realize that your peace is non-negotiable, that's when you take control. You stop allowing the world to affect your inner tranquility. You stop giving people the power to disrupt your mood or steal your joy. The reality is, not everyone is meant to be in your life. Not everyone deserves access to your energy, your time, and your peace. Some people are toxic, some are draining, and some are just out to stir up trouble. And when you recognize these people, When you realize that their presence in your life is nothing but a source of stress and chaos, you need to take action. It's not about being rude or shutting people out for no reason. It's about choosing yourself over situations that threaten your peace. There's no need to explain. Simply walk away. If they don't understand, that's not your problem. What matters is that you've made the choice to protect your peace. It's not easy, I know. People will try to guilt trip you. They'll question why you're pulling away, why you're setting boundaries, why you're no longer engaging in the same conversations or drama they want to bring into your life. But you don't have to answer them. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're choosing peace. The people who truly care about you will respect your decision. They will understand that protecting your peace is not about them. It's about taking care of your mental and emotional health. Anyone who tries to force an explanation out of you doesn't have your best interest at heart. They're only trying to manipulate you into accepting their chaos. Imagine your peace as a sacred space, a space that should be protected at all costs. It's yours and yours alone to maintain. You wouldn't allow anyone to walk into your home and tear up your possessions, would you? You wouldn't invite someone into your living room just to let them trash the place and leave it in disarray. So why would you allow anyone into your mind or heart and let them destroy your peace? Your inner peace is your home, and you are its caretaker. You decide who gets access, and you decide who gets shut out. And if that means cutting off toxic relationships or avoiding stressful situations, so be it. People who are determined to drain you will often try to make you feel guilty for putting yourself first. They'll try to make you feel selfish or even accuse you of being uncaring. They'll say things like, "Why are you acting like this?" Or "Why don't you just talk to me?" But here's the thing, you don't need to justify yourself. You don't need to explain why you're choosing not to engage in their negativity. You've already made the decision to protect your peace. The people who care about you will respect that. And those who don't, well, their opinions are irrelevant. Protecting your peace isn't just about cutting people off. It's also about controlling what you allow into your mind and heart. The media, the news, social media, these things can be overwhelming. There's so much noise out there, so many opinions, so much negativity. It's easy to get sucked into it. But the truth is, you have the power to control what you allow into your life. You have the power to curate your experience, to choose what you consume, who you interact with, and what you give your attention to. Protecting your peace means refusing to let external forces dictate how you feel. It means not allowing the negativity of the world to steal your joy, your calm, or your focus. When you stop explaining why you need peace, you stop being a prisoner to the expectations of others. You stop living for other people's approval and validation. You stop letting their opinions shape how you live your life. You realize that you are enough just as you are, that you don't need to justify your choices to anyone. And that's when the real freedom begins. When you stop justifying your boundaries, when you stop seeking permission to protect your peace, that's when you start living life on your terms. One of the hardest things to do is to protect your peace without explanation. It's hard because we've been conditioned to think that we owe people an explanation for everything we do. But the truth is, you don't. You don't need to explain why you need space. You don't need to explain why you're walking away from a toxic situation. You don't need to explain why you're cutting someone off. Your peace is your responsibility, and you have every right to do whatever it takes to preserve it. You have to understand that there will always be people who don't understand your decisions. They'll wonder why you're not engaging, why you're not responding to their messages or their drama. But you're not obligated to explain yourself to anyone. Your peace is too valuable to waste time explaining it to those who would never understand. People who respect you, people who care about you, will understand why you're protecting your peace. They'll support you in it, and they'll want the same for themselves. It's easy to get caught up in trying to please everyone to make sure everyone is happy with your decisions. But the truth is, you can't make everyone happy. You can't please everyone. And trying to do so only leads to burnout or frustration. But when you protect your peace, you're doing what's best for you. You're choosing yourself, your well-being, and your happiness over the demands of others. And that's a decision you don't need to explain to anyone. Your peace is your power. It's the force that drives you, the energy that fuels your purpose, the calm that allows you to think clearly and make wise decisions. Protect it fiercely. Don't let anyone take it from you, and don't feel like you have to explain why it's important to you. When you protect your peace, you show the world that you know your worth, that you know what matters, and that you won't settle for anything less than the peace you deserve. Letting go is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do in life. It's not just about physical things or possessions. It's about emotions, attachments, relationships, and expectations. It's about releasing something or someone that no longer serves your growth, your peace, or your well-being. But the hardest part of letting go isn't the actual act of release, it's the guilt that comes with it. Society has conditioned us to believe that we owe people, things, and situations more than we do. We're made to feel like if we let go, we're being selfish, cruel, or ungrateful. But let me tell you this, learning to let go without guilt is one of the most liberating decisions you can make in your life. First, you need to understand that letting go doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're abandoning people or giving up on things that once mattered to you. It simply means that you are choosing yourself over situations that no longer contribute to your happiness or growth. Letting go is a form of self-care, a way of protecting your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It's a decision to stop holding on to things that weigh you down and to allow yourself the space to breathe, to heal, and to move forward. The guilt that comes with letting go often stems from the fear of disappointing others. You worry about how your actions will affect the people around you. You fear what they'll think of you, how they'll react, or how they'll label you. But the truth is, holding on to something out of guilt is only keeping you stuck. You're not responsible for the emotional well-being of everyone else. You are responsible for your own. And if something is draining you, hurting you, or holding you back from becoming the person you're meant to be, you have every right to let it go without guilt. Think about it for a moment. We hold on to things because we fear change, we fear the unknown, and we fear that by letting go, we're somehow failing. We tell ourselves that we should have done more, that we should have tried harder, that we should have been better. But what if letting go is actually the best thing you can do for both yourself and the other person? Sometimes people are meant to come into your life for a season, not for a lifetime. Sometimes relationships run their course, and it's not about anyone being wrong or bad, it's just that you've outgrown each other. Letting go in those moments isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. One of the reasons we feel guilty about letting go is because we're afraid of being misunderstood. We're afraid that people won't see our side of the story. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation for why you choose to move on. You don't have to justify your decision to anyone. Your reasons, your feelings, and your decisions are valid, whether or not they make sense to the other person. You are allowed to prioritize your happiness, your peace, and your growth above all else. And if someone truly cares about you, they will understand that you need to do what's best for your life, even if it means letting go. In some cases, letting go means leaving behind people who have been in your life for a long time. It's painful, it's heartbreaking, but it's also necessary. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some people come into your life to teach you lessons, to show you a part of yourself you never knew existed, or to challenge you in ways that help you grow. And once those lessons have been learned, it's okay to let go and move on. It doesn't mean you didn't value the relationship or the time you spent together. It just means that you've come to a place where it's time to move in a different direction. The hardest part of letting go is often the fear of what will happen next. What if you let go of this person, this job, this situation, and you never find anything better? What if you regret it? What if you're making a mistake? The fear of the unknown can keep us locked in situations we don't want to be in, simply because we bewail the void that will be left behind. But here's the truth. The void is not something to fear. It's a space of opportunity. When you let go, you make room for something better to enter your life. You free yourself from the things that are holding you back and allow yourself to create the life you truly want. The fear of what comes next is normal, but it shouldn't stop you from taking that leap of faith. Trust that when you release what no longer serves you, the universe will fill that space with something better suited to who you are becoming. Letting go without guilt also means releasing expectations. We hold on to people, things, and situations because we have certain expectations of how they should turn out. We expect people to behave a certain way or situations to unfold according to our timeline. But life doesn't work that way. Sometimes things don't turn out the way we expect, and that's okay. It's not a failure, simply a redirection. Letting go means accepting that things didn't work out the way we hoped, and choosing to move forward without the weight of unmet expectations. When you stop holding on to what didn't work, you open yourself up to new possibilities. Another aspect of letting go without guilt is learning to forgive yourself. Often we hold on to guilt because we feel like we should have done things differently. We second guess our decisions, questioning whether we made the right choice. But the truth is, we only know what we know at the time. We make decisions based on the information, emotions, and experiences we have in the moment. And when we look back, we can't change the past, but we can choose to move forward with grace, knowing that we did the best we could with what we had. Letting go means forgiving yourself for any mistakes or regrets. It means understanding that your journey is yours alone and there is no need to carry the weight of guilt. To truly let go without guilt, you have to trust that the universe has a plan for you. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if you let go, you're giving up on something important, that you're somehow letting go of your future. But the truth is, when you let go, you're making space for your future to unfold in the most beautiful, unexpected ways. You're trusting that what's meant for you will find its way to you, and that everything you need will come to you when the time is right. Letting go without guilt requires you to have faith that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances will come into your life when you release what no longer serves you. Letting go also means accepting that not everything is meant to last forever. Relationships, jobs, dreams, and circumstances change. People evolve, situations shift, and sometimes we have to let go in order to grow. Holding onto something out of guilt or fear only stunts your growth. When you release what is no longer aligned with your vision for your life, you allow yourself to evolve into the person you are meant to be. Letting go without guilt is an act of self-love, a decision to prioritize your future over your past. And here's the thing, when you let go without guilt, you make room for new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences that will support your growth. You make room for things that will bring you joy, fulfillment, and peace. And that in the end is what matters most. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the fear. Let go of the attachments that no longer serve you. Trust that in doing so, you are creating space for the life you've always wanted. And when you look back, you'll realize that the best thing you could have done was let go with no regrets and no guilt. The world can be chaotic and people can be unpredictable. There will always be drama, always be distractions, and always be someone or something trying to pull you into their storm. But let me tell you this, you'll focus your energy and your time are too precious to waste on anyone else's mess. People's drama, their issues, their insecurities, and their problems do not deserve to take up space in your life. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of other people's chaos, to let their stress and negativity consume your thoughts. But in 2025, it's time to shift your focus. It's time to stop feeding into their drama and start focusing on your own growth. Your growth is your responsibility, and it's the most important thing you can prioritize in your life. Growth is what propels you forward, what brings you closer to your goals, and what shapes the person you are becoming. Everything else, everyone else's drama, opinions, and distractions are just noise. If you choose to engage with that noise, if you allow it to pull you off track, you're choosing to invest in something that doesn't contribute to your future. Your growth, on the other hand, has the power to change everything. It has the power to transform your life, your career, your relationships, and even your mindset. The choice is yours. You can get sucked into the drama, or you can turn your attention to the things that really matter. People are naturally drawn to drama. It's human nature to want to know what's going on in other people's lives, to gossip, to share stories, and to engage in conflict. But if you want to grow, if you want to elevate yourself, you have to detach from that temptation. Drama is a distraction. It's a trap that keeps you from focusing on what you really need to do. It wastes your energy, your time, and your mental space. Instead of putting your energy into other people's mess, invest that energy into building yourself up. Invest it into developing your skills, advancing your career, learning new things, and becoming the best version of yourself. That is the real work, the kind of work that will pay off in the long run. When you're caught up in drama, you lose sight of your own goals. You become so focused on what's happening with other people that you forget about what you need to accomplish. And the longer you stay in that space, the harder it becomes to pull yourself out. Your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations are what matter most. They are the things that will define your life, not the temporary drama of others. The moment you make the decision to stop investing in other people's chaos is the moment you take back control over your life. You stop being a passive observer of their problems and start being the architect of your own future. One of the biggest reasons people get caught up in drama is the need for validation. People want to feel seen, heard, and important, and sometimes drama is the way they get that attention. They thrive on the chaos, they feed off the conflict. and they drag others into their mess to make themselves feel better. But this is not your job. It is not your responsibility to validate someone else's pain or problems. You don't have to be involved in their struggles to prove that you care about them. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is to step back and allow them to deal with their issues on their own. You are not obligated to participate in the drama. You are not obligated to be a part of someone else's conflict. Your role is to protect your peace, to focus on your growth, and to support others in ways that don't involve getting caught up in their emotional chaos. Drama is a form of distraction that prevents you from reaching your full potential. It diverts your energy away from the things that matter and puts it into things that don't contribute to your success. Think about all the time you've spent in the past listening to gossip, arguing over petty issues, or trying to solve problems that weren't yours to solve. That time is gone, never to be reclaimed. But right now, today, you can make a different choice. You can choose to focus on the things that will move you forward in life. You can choose to invest your time and energy into the things that will help you grow, develop, and elevate yourself to the next level. When you focus on your growth, you put yourself in a position to create a life that aligns with your values, your vision, and your purpose. Growth isn't just about personal development or achieving success. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. And that person is not defined by the drama of others. That person is defined by the work you put in, the goals you set, and the effort you make to improve every day. Your growth is a reflection of your commitment to yourself. It's a reflection of your dedication to becoming the best version of you, regardless of the distractions that may arise along the way. One of the most powerful ways to stop focusing on other people's drama is to develop a strong sense of self-awareness. The more you understand who you are, what you want, and where you're going, the less likely you are to get pulled into the chaos around you. When you know your purpose, when you're clear about your goals, you can easily recognize distractions for what they are. You can see the drama for what it truly is, a waste of time. And when you recognize the drama, you can make the conscious decision to walk away, to turn your attention back to what truly matters. Growth requires a level of discipline and focus that drama simply can't provide. If you're constantly distracted by other people's issues, you'll never be able to give your full attention to the things that will help you move forward. But when you stop engaging in the drama, when you stop feeding into the negativity and conflict, you create space for your mind to focus on the things that will truly benefit you. Your goals become clearer, your path becomes smoother, and your progress becomes unstoppable. Another way to focus on your growth and not the drama is to surround yourself with people who are on the same journey. You need to be around people who uplift you, who inspire you, and who are focused on their own growth. When you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, you're less likely to get involved in negative situations. You'll have people in your life who encourage you to stay focused on your goals and who help you stay grounded when distractions arise. The people you spend time with have a significant impact on your mindset and your energy. Choose to be around those who help you grow and distance yourself from those who try to pull you into drama. It's also important to remember that growth takes time. It's a long-term process that requires patience and consistency. When you focus on your growth, you understand that every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. You don't need to compare yourself to others or measure your success against someone else's journey. Your growth is unique to you, and it's about becoming the person you're meant to be, not the person someone else expects you to be. By staying focused on your own path and not getting distracted by other people's drama, you give yourself the space and the freedom to evolve at your own pace. In 2025, it's time to commit to your growth. It's time to stop wasting time of others and on the things that will move you forward. It's time to stop getting caught up in the noise and start building the life you've always dreamed of. Your growth is in your hands, and you are the only one who can make it happen. Don't let anyone or anything distract you from your path. Stay focused, stay determined, and keep moving forward. The world is full of distractions, but your growth is worth more than any drama. Silence is a powerful tool, one that many underestimate. In a world where everyone feels the need to speak, to be heard, to react, silence is often perceived as weakness. People believe that if you're not talking, if you're not constantly engaging, you're invisible, irrelevant, or unable to assert yourself. But the truth is, silence is one of the most profound forms of strength you can possess. It is a choice. A conscious decision to withhold your words, your energy, and your responses in moments that could easily provoke a reaction. The ability to remain silent in situations where others would be quick to speak up is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of inner power, self-control, and wisdom. When you choose silence over reaction, you are asserting control over your emotions and your actions. You're not allowing the external world to dictate your internal state. In the face of anger, frustration, or conflict, silence allows you to step back, take a breath, and respond with clarity rather than letting your emotions control you. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment and say things you don't mean, to react impulsively and regret it later. But silence forces you to pause, to evaluate the situation, and to choose a response that is more measured and intentional. It's the kind of strength that comes from knowing that you don't have to engage in every battle, that not every situation requires a response, and that sometimes saying nothing speaks louder than words ever could. Realizing that silence is strength means understanding that you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. People will always have opinions, judgments, and expectations of you. They'll question your decisions, challenge your beliefs, and try to push you into responding to things that don't deserve your attention. But when you choose silence, you free yourself from the need to justify your actions. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your life, your choices, and your path are yours to define. When you stop feeling the need to explain or defend yourself, you stand in your truth and your strength. You realize that your worth is not determined by others' understanding of you. It's determined by your own belief in yourself. In many ways, silence is a way of maintaining your peace. There's an undeniable power in not engaging with negativity, in not getting pulled into arguments or toxic conversations. We often feel the urge to respond to insults, criticisms, or accusations because we think it's our responsibility to defend ourselves. But sometimes silence is the best defense. It disarms the other person because they can't argue with silence. It neutralizes the situation by not giving them the reaction they are looking for. When you remain silent, you refuse to feed into the negativity and you keep your peace intact. Silence doesn't mean you're weak or afraid. It means you value your peace more than you value proving a point or engaging in a conflict that isn't worth your time. Silence also has the power to make people reflect. When you don't react, when you don't engage in the way they expect you to, people are forced to confront their own behavior. They have to look at themselves and ask why you're not responding in the way they anticipated. This reflection can lead to a shift in their perspective, forcing them to reconsider their actions and words. The beauty of silence is that it speaks volumes without you ever having to say a word. It communicates strength, self-respect, and emotional maturity in ways that words sometimes fail to do. When you choose silence, you take back control of the narrative. You no longer allow others to dictate how you should feel, think, or react. You choose to remain calm, composed, and centered no matter how others behave. But silence isn't just about holding back in moments of conflict or tension. It's also about knowing when to remain silent in moments of success, joy, and celebration. People often think that silence is only relevant in negative situations, but it's just as powerful when things are going well for you. In a world that constantly demands attention, validation, and recognition, silence can be a form of humility. You don't need to brag, boast, or seek applause for your accomplishments. Let your success speak for itself. When you're silent about your achievements, you allow your actions to shine brighter than your words ever could. Your strength is in your ability to remain grounded, to let your work, your results, and your presence do the talking. Silence in this context doesn't mean hiding or playing small. It means embracing the power of modesty and knowing that true strength doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops. Silence also gives you the space to listen. In a world that is so focused on talking, it's easy to forget how important it is to listen. But listening is an essential part of building strong relationships, gaining wisdom, and understanding the world around you. When you're silent, you open yourself up to hearing things you might have missed if you were speaking. You gain insights into people's thoughts, emotions, and intentions that can only be heard in the quiet moments. You hear the truth beneath the surface, the things people don't always say out loud. Silence allows you to observe, to absorb, and to truly understand what is happening in your environment. It makes you more attuned to the needs of others, more empathetic, and more aware of the subtle cues that often go unnoticed. In many ways, silence is the foundation of effective communication. It's not just about what you say, it's also about what you hear, and silence gives you the space to listen deeply. There is also strength in silence when it comes to your inner dialogue. Often we are our own worst critics. We constantly doubt ourselves, question our decisions, and criticize our mistakes. But silence allows you to quiet those inner voices, to stop the constant chatter that tells you you're not enough or that you're not doing things the right way. In the stillness, you can find clarity, peace, and self-assurance. You can reconnect with your inner wisdom and trust yourself without the noise of self-doubt or fear. Silence becomes a tool for self-reflection, a space where you can gain perspective, learn from your experiences, and grow stronger. One of the most profound aspects of silence is its ability to create boundaries. In a world where people are always demanding your time, attention, and energy, silence is a form of protection. It's a way of setting boundaries without confrontation, without needing to explain yourself. When you choose silence, you're telling the world that you won't be dragged into unnecessary drama, you won't be manipulated into engaging with toxic behavior, and you won't be made to feel guilty for choosing to protect your peace. Silence is a way of saying, I'm not available for that. It's a way of taking control of your environment and safeguarding your emotional well-being. You don't have to respond to every text, every call, or every demand. Silence is your shield, your way of protecting yourself from the noise that seeks to overwhelm you. It's also important to understand that silence is not about avoidance. It's not about shutting down or ignoring your feelings. Instead, it's about consciously choosing not to engage with situations or people that don't deserve your energy. It's about not giving power to negativity, conflict, or distractions. Silence allows you to process your emotions without being controlled by them. It gives you the space to reflect, to heal, and to choose how you want to move forward. You're not avoiding the situation, you're choosing how to handle it with grace, maturity, and strength. The ability to remain silent in moments of chaos or adversity is a superpower. It requires immense self-control, patience, and wisdom. It means you've learned that your words don't always need to be heard, that your actions speak louder than your voice, and that your peace is more valuable than any argument or confrontation. When you realize that silence is strength, you unlock a new level of power within yourself. You understand that you are not defined by how loudly you speak, but by how calmly you stand in the face of adversity. Silence is not passive. It is active, intentional, and incredibly strong. It is a choice you make to protect yourself, to grow, and to remain centered no matter what the world throws your way. And that is a power that no one can take from you. In a world where everyone seeks closure, where people are constantly looking for a sense of resolution or understanding, there is a profound truth that many fail to realize sometimes. Your quiet exit is all the closure you need. We are taught that closure comes from conversations, explanations, or final moments of confrontation. We believe that we need to tell people how we feel, to explain why we're walking away, to demand an apology or acknowledgement of wrongs done to us. But in reality, there is something incredibly powerful in choosing to leave quietly, without fanfare, without dragging out the process, without needing the validation or answers from others. Trusting that your quiet exit is enough requires a level of inner strength, self-respect, and emotional maturity. It means you no longer need to rely on anyone else for your peace or your sense of closure. You can give that to yourself. There's something beautiful in the simplicity of just walking away. When you leave quietly, you are taking control of the situation. You are deciding that your time, your energy, and your well-being are more important than any drama, explanation, or lingering question. Often we stay in toxic relationships, unfulfilling situations, or destructive environments because we feel obligated to provide an explanation, to offer clarity, to give the other person the closure they need. But you don't owe anyone an explanation for your decision to prioritize your peace and your growth. Your quiet exit is not about being rude or immature. It's about recognizing your own worth and understanding that sometimes leaving without making a scene is the most dignified and empowering thing you can do. Many times we stay in situations because we feel that we owe people an explanation. We want to be understood. We want to clear the air, to make sure that the other person knows why we're walking away, to ensure they understand the reasons for our decision. But the truth is, some people will never understand. And that's okay. Not everyone is capable of seeing things from your perspective. Not everyone will appreciate or acknowledge the boundaries you set. And that's not your burden to carry. You don't need the other person's approval or agreement to move on. You don't need their closure to heal. Your peace is far more important than their need for answers, and by walking away quietly, you are choosing to preserve that peace. Trusting your quiet exit is a recognition that your actions will speak louder than words ever could. When you leave a situation, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, or a job, without drama, without confrontation, without needing to explain yourself, you are sending a powerful message. That message is simple: I am worth more than this. I value my time, my energy, and my emotional health too much to stay in a place that doesn't serve me. You're not doing it to hurt anyone. You're doing it because you've learned the value of self-respect and self-love. Your quiet exit is not a reflection of weakness or indecision. It's a reflection of your ability to let go of what no longer serves you and to move on with grace and dignity. In many ways, the quiet exit is the ultimate form of self-respect. It's easy to get caught up in the drama of explaining yourself, justifying your actions, or getting caught in an argument over something that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But when you exit quietly, you are telling the world that you don't need to engage in every battle. You don't need to seek validation or approval from others. You know your worth, and you're willing to walk away from anything or anyone that doesn't recognize it. It's a silent act of empowerment that speaks volumes about your strength and your commitment to your own well-being. You are not defined by the drama or the noise around you. You define yourself by your actions, and in choosing to leave quietly, you are making a statement that you are worthy of peace, respect, and the freedom to live on your own terms. Trusting your quiet exit means understanding that closure doesn't always come from a conversation. Closure is an internal process, one that happens when you decide that you no longer need to hold on to the past, to the pain, or to the person who caused it. It happens when you make the conscious decision to release what no longer serves you, and you do so with the understanding that you don't need anyone else's permission to move on. You don't need their acknowledgement or approval to heal. You don't need their apology to feel validated. You can find closure within yourself through the quiet strength of walking away and knowing that you've made the best decision for your life. There's a certain kind of peace that comes with the decision to leave quietly. It's the peace that comes from knowing that you don't have to explain yourself, that you don't have to defend your choices, and that you don't have to make anyone else understand your reasons for moving on. It's a peace that comes from knowing that you've made a decision that aligns with your values, your boundaries, and your vision for your future. When you trust that your quiet exit is all the closure you need, you stop relying on other people's opinions or judgments. You stop waiting for them to validate your decision or to give you the resolution you seek. You realize that closure is not something that can be given to you, it is something you create within yourself. One of the most difficult things we face when we're walking away from a situation is the fear of leaving without closure. We often feel that if we don't have the conversation, if we don't say the words, if we don't get the answers we need, we'll never truly be able to move on. But the reality is, closure is a choice, and it's something you can give to yourself. Your quiet exit is a reflection of your ability to let go, to trust that the past is behind you, and to move forward with confidence and purpose. You don't need anyone else's permission to heal. You don't need their input to move forward. You are the only one who holds the key to your own peace. And once you realize that, the quiet exit becomes your most powerful tool. When you leave quietly, you are also protecting yourself from unnecessary conflict. In some cases, trying to get closure through a conversation or confrontation can open up old wounds, create more confusion, and prolong the healing process. It can lead to arguments, misunderstandings, and more pain. By leaving quietly, you avoid the drama and the chaos that can often come with trying to get closure from others. You take the high road and decide that your peace is far more valuable than any last word or final conversation. It's not about being passive or avoiding conflict. It's about knowing that some things are better left unsaid and some relationships are better left behind. The quiet exit also helps you protect your energy. Every time you engage in a conversation or situation that drains you, you give away a piece of yourself. You invest your time, your emotions, and your mental energy into something that may not be worthy of it. But when you trust that your quiet exit is all the closure you need, you stop giving away your energy to things that no longer serve you. You conserve your strength, your focus, and your peace, allowing you to channel those resources into the things that truly matter. Now, let's make 2025 the year we rise above the noise. No more drama. No more letting people waste your energy. Cut them off silently and watch your life transform.